and welcome back everyone, and today I am super excited to be talking about the rumored cast list and the latest news for The Challenge Season 40. This is a momentous season, and I am so excited to be diving deep into the theme, the location, all 40 cast members. You heard me right. There are 40 players rumored to be on The Challenge 40. This is looking like it's going to be a really fun season. I have high hopes from just what the cast and the theme is by itself. But before we get into any of that, let's jump into some of the background information. Now, the location for this challenge season will take place in Vietnam. And the rumored theme is, and we're gonna put this in quotes, as the best of the best from the different eras. To me, my theory is, let's just go back to what they were doing like in Battle of the X's and everything, and let's just do a Battle of the Eras, because it looks like the season could start out with 4 teams of 10 players each, where the teams are separated by eras and when each player debuted on the challenge. For example, it's like Team 1 or Era 1 is made up of challengers that premiered on the challenge between seasons 1 through 10. And then Era 2 is made up of players that debuted on the challenge between the seasons of season 11 through season 20, and so on and so forth. This is not necessarily a new school versus old school, but I think it's the closest we could get to a season like that. And with the season broken down by eras and 10 players per era, it lends itself to giving us enough variance in the cast to make this very exciting. And some of the names that popped up on this rumored cast list is very surprising in good and bad and indifferent ways. But I'm so excited to be jumping into the season and talking about the news that let's just jump into it. We're going to start off with probably the best of the best, and that is going to be Era 1, players that debuted on the challenge season between seasons 1 and season 10. We're going to go in alphabetical order. So we're starting off with Aneesa, whose original show was The Real World Chicago. She debuted on season 6 of the challenge. She has done 16 main seasons. She has seen 3 finals on the main MTV series, 1 All-Stars final, no wins, and the last time we saw her on the main series of the challenge was on season 38, Ride or Dies, in the final, getting 3rd place alongside her partner at the time, Jordan. Next up, we have Brad from The Real World San Diego. He debuted all the way back on season 9 of the challenge. He has done 10 main seasons, going to 4 finals, winning once in season 20, and he's been on 1 All-Stars final, getting 2nd place behind Wes in All-Stars 3. Kind of projecting into the future, he will be on All-Stars 4, but the last time we saw him on the challenge competing on a main series was on season 39, being a mercenary, but realistically, the last time he was on a main challenge MTV season was on season 32, and then he came on to do a couple of All-Star seasons. Last time I talked to Brad was in the exit interview for the Challenge 39, and he was so amped for a battle of old school versus new school, and I can only imagine how excited he's going to be walking into this season. CT, whose original show was The Real World Paris. He debuted on season 8 of the challenge called The Inferno, and he has done 19 main seasons of the challenge. He has been to 10 finals. He has 5 challenge championships. And as a bonus, he has 2 wins on the Champs Versus series. And the last time we saw him was on the Challenge 39, being a mercenary, winning against Asaf. But the last time he was competing on a main series of the challenge, he was winning back-to-back seasons on season 36 and then on season 37. CT's looking for his 3rd straight season in a row. That's something very exciting to be looking out for. Now moving on to Darrell, whose original show was The Road Rules Campus Crawls. His first season of the challenge was season 7, The Gauntlet, and he has done 10 main seasons of the challenge. He's been to 4 finals. He's won 4 finals. He won Champs vs. Pros, and he's been to a couple of finals on the All-Stars series. And just like I was saying about Brad and CT, the last time we saw Darrell was on season 39, being a mercenary. The last time we saw Darrell on the main series of the MTV Challenge was in season 38, where he paired up with Veronica and he lost to Amber and Chauncey. Someone who is a really close friend with Darrell is Derek K, whose original show was Road Rules Extreme. He debuted on season 9, just like Brad. He has done 10 main seasons of the challenge. He has been to 5 finals, has 3 championships, and been to 1 All-Stars final, and that was All-Stars 1, where he is purged like in the very beginning of that final. Last time we saw Derek competing was All-Stars 3, but if you want to know the last time we saw Derek on the main series of the challenge on MTV, that was all the way back to Dirty 30, where he was able to make the final and get 2nd place. Jody, whose original show was the Road Rules Extreme as well, debuted on season 10, just making it into the Era 1 cutoff. She has done 3 MTV seasons, been to 2 finals, has won both of those seasons of Gauntlet 2 and The Duel, almost made the All-Stars 2 final but lost to Darrell and Janelle, and the last time we saw her was in the World Championship, getting eliminated by Troy and Casey in episode 8. But the last time she was on the main series MTV challenge was all the way back to The Duel, which she won. Jody showed that she can still kick a lot of tail, and I'm so excited to see her on. Someone else who hasn't been on an MTV challenge in quite some time is Katie, whose original show was The Road Rules The Quest. She debuted back on season 7, The Gauntlet. She has done 9 main seasons of the challenge, 2 final appearances, 1 final win, which was in the Inferno, and the last time we saw her was in All-Stars 2, in episode 4, losing to Ayana in the Wait For Me challenge, but the last time we saw her on MTV was season 20, episode 5, where she lost to Camilla in the Pull Me Over elimination. I would love to see her elevate her game and try to get this win alongside her team, if it's going to stay a team game the entire season. We'll have to wait and see. That's a theory of mine that I'm kind of just throwing out there. Next up, we have Mark, the Godfather, whose original show was the first Road Rules season called Road Rules USA First Adventure. He debuted back in season 2 of the challenge. He has done 6 main seasons of the challenge, has been to 4 finals, is a 2-time champion, been to 2 All-Stars finals as well. So he's seen a total of 6 finals. And the last time we saw him was in All-Stars 3 final, getting 4th place, getting purged. But the last time we saw him on MTV was all the way back in season 22, Battle of the Exes, where he played Bananas in a pole wrestle and lost. You just can't keep Mark away from the main series. I had a feeling he was going to return, especially for season 40, if it was going to be an all-champ season or old school versus new school. You can't get much more old school than Mark. And I'm telling you right now, he looks better than he did back when he first was appearing on the challenge. So I'm very excited to see him. I love seeing Mark, and I also love seeing Rachel, a part of this rumored cast. Her original show is Road Rules Campus Crawls. She debuted back in season 6. She has done 7 main seasons of the challenge, going to 3 finals, is a 2-time challenge champ, and the last time we saw her was in season 22, where her and Anissa were eliminated by Paula and Dunbar in the Banded Together elimination. We're also going to see Rachel in All-Stars 4 that is premiering on April 10th. So we're going to be able to see Rachel and how she competes on All-Stars before we're going to see how she's going to do in a team setting like this season and make her return back on MTV. And the final person, a part of Era 1, is Tina, whose original show was Road Rules South Pacific. She debuted back on season 7, The Gauntlet. She has done 5 main seasons of the challenge. She's been to 2 finals, 0 wins. Last time we saw her was on All-Stars 3, where she was medically DQ'd after breaking her arm in a daily challenge. She will be on All-Stars 4, but the last time we saw her on the MTV The Challenge, she was a mercenary on season 20, where she was going up against Teresa and Tori H. And if you want to know the last time she was competing on a challenge season for actual cash, that was all the way back in season 13, The Duel. Overall stats of Era 1, they have 10 finalists, 8 total champions. They are a strong team. Yes, they are an older team, but their experience is priceless, and they are in better shape than they were when they first started on the challenge. Every single one of them. And I just feel like if I had to put my money on any given team, I know we haven't gone through all of them, I think Era 1, seasons 1 through 10, is just how can you not think that they are the favorites going into this season? I think they did a really good job trying to balance out this team of not being too overpowered, and also not everybody is friends on this Era 1 team. I think they did a really good job, and like I said, I'm fully confident in Era's 1 team being able to beast out the competition and do a really good job. So to me, I love Era 1, I love all the names, and I think that this is a really, really, really good team. Now let's move on to Era 2, which are all players that debuted on the challenge from Season 11 to Season 20. And we're going to start off with a name that we haven't heard on the main series of the challenge, or really any season of the challenge, in a long, long time, and that is Aviv from Season 12 Fresh Meat, which that is her original show, is Season 12. She came in as a Fresh Meat contestant. She's only done 1 season. She was paired up with Darrell. They made the finals and they won. And that's the last time we saw her, was winning Fresh Meat alongside Darrell. Can she make it 2 for 2 after being away from the challenge for over 28 seasons? I'm excited. I'm actually very surprised to see Aviv, because I would half expect to see her on All Stars before we got to see her back on the MTV series. But hey, this is exactly what we wanted for like an old school versus new school or battle of the eras, because we want to see variance in the cast, and you don't get more variance than somebody who has done 1 season and who is a champion and who is ready to come back and just hit the ground running and ready to compete. I love seeing Aviv. I'm excited to see what she can do. And Darrell's also on this season, so she has a built-in number there. Someone else I'm very excited to see is Brandon, whose original show was Fresh Meat 2. That's his original show. He came on as Fresh Meat, debuted on Season 19. He has done 5 main seasons of the challenge. He hasn't been to any finals. He hasn't won anything. And the last time we saw him will be on All Stars 4. But the last time we saw him on the MTV side of things was in Season 25, Free Agents, where he lost to Zach in the Oppenheimer elimination. We should almost call this from Era 2 to Fresh Meat, because we're bouncing to yet another Fresh Meat originated contestant, and that is none other than Cara Maria, whose original show was Fresh Meat 2, and that was her debut season on the challenge, Season 19. She has done 14 seasons of the challenge, 9 final appearances, 2 wins, 1 Champs versus Pros win, and the last time we'll see her was on All Stars 4. That's upcoming, but the last time she was on MTV was Season 39 as a mercenary, but as a contestant was Season 34, and she finished in 2nd place in those finals. We're getting a big dose of Cara Maria in a very short period of time, which I'm very excited about. For so many years, we hadn't seen her on the challenge. Then she's on Season 39. She gets a home turf episode. She's going to be on All Stars 4, and now she's going to be on Season 40. Let's go. I'm so excited. Next up, we have Derek C., whose original show was Real World Cancun. He debuted on the challenge on Season 20, just getting under the cutoff for Era 2. He's done 3 main seasons of the challenge, 0 finals, 0 wins. We'll see him on All Stars 4, but the last time we saw him on MTV was Rivals 2, where he lost to Preston and Knight in the Snapper elimination. Someone else that I didn't think we'd ever see back on the challenge anytime soon, but here she is Emily Skrom, whose original show was The Real World DC. She made her challenge debut on Season 20. She's done 3 main seasons, 1 Champs vs. Stars series, has never been eliminated. She's always made it to a final, and she has 1 win under her belt, winning Rivals 2. Now, you can't have an Eras 2 team without this next contestant, and that is Johnny Bananas, whose original show was The Real World Key West. He made his challenge debut on Season 13, albeit it was short, but then he had long-lasting effects on the challenge, as he has done 21 main seasons. He's been to 10 finals. He has 7 wins. He's won a Champs vs. Stars season, and he made it to the USA 2 final, where he got 3rd place. And that's the last time we saw him on the challenge, was getting 3rd place on USA 2. But the last time we saw him on MTV was Season 38, in the final, getting 2nd place alongside Nany, losing to Tori and Devin. Can I just say how excited I am to see Kellyanne back on The Challenge. Kellyanne is going to be on The Challenge Season 40. Her original show was The Real World Sydney. She debuted back on Season 16, The Island. Tough first season. One final appearance. Also has been to 2 All-Stars finals, so 3 finals in total. And the last time we saw her was on the World Championship, losing to Darrell and Kiki in the hands-off elimination. But the last time we saw her on the MTV series was in Season 28, Rivals 3, where she was paired up with cousin Jamie. They lost to Nany and Wes. Kellyanne was such a breath of fresh air on the World Championship and in All-Stars that I'm so excited to see her on this cast, specifically on this team, and I love it. I'm so in love with this cast right now. Like, it's making me just completely melt and forget everything that happened on the Challenge 39. Now, speaking of Challenge 39, this next contestant was on there for a brief moment, and that is Laurel, whose original show was Fresh Meat 2, which was also her debut season, was season 19. She has done 7 main seasons. She's been to 4 finals, has 1 win back in season 25 Free Agents, and the last time we saw her will be on All Stars 4, but the last time she was on MTV was on season 38 Ride or Dies, where in episode 6 she lost to Jordan and Anissa. Next up is Nehemiah from The Real World Austin. He debuted back in season 13 The Duel. He's done 4 main seasons of The Challenge, going to 1 final, winning that final back in Gauntlet 3. He has then been featured on All Stars, where he's made it to 2 finals. And the last time we saw him was on All Stars 3 in the final, getting 3rd place. But the last time he was on MTV was back in season 21 Rivals, where he's paired up with Evan, and they lost in episode 6 to CT and Adam. And the final name in Era 2 is Ryan, who debuted back in season 12, Fresh Meat, which is also his original show. He came on as a Fresh Meat. He has done 5 main seasons of The Challenge. He has been to 1 final. He has done All Stars 2 and will be on All Stars 4. But the last time we saw him on the main series of The Challenge on MTV was back in season 19, Fresh Meat 2, where he and Teresa went very deep into that season, but lost right before the finals. Now, the overall stats of this Era 2 team, you have 8 finalists and 6 champions. Not bad. To me, I think it can be a very strong team. It's just that some of these players have also been teamed up before. Now, I am saying that these players are on teams, but we don't even know what the format is. If it's going to be a 4-team season, that's just my theory. I just feel like it's going to start off with 4 teams and then it's going to change up to be like a solo or paired season, like midway through the game. But I love these cast members. I love who they chose from Era 2. I think they did a good job having some variance. And some of these players we've seen pretty recently on both All-Stars and the main series, as well as some players that haven't been on in quite some time that could bring a huge boost in competition and the competition level. Kind of like I was saying for Era 1, I think they did a good job balancing Era 2, as some players I feel are really good and some players are a little bit lacking the last time we saw them on a challenge season, whether it was All-Stars or regular. I really like this team. I don't think they are better than Era 1. I just feel like Era 1 players have a huge leg up in the competition compared to the rest of the team, but I think that this team is a really, really strong team and could work together. I also could see that this team has a lot of baggage with each other. I don't know. It's very interesting. I wonder how this is all going to play out. I love the idea of the unpredictability of the social game and the personal game, and I think that's also lending itself to me being excited about this season. But let's get into Era 3, which are players that debuted between 21 and season 30. Back in alphabetical order, in Era 3, we're going to start off with Amanda, whose original show was Are You the One 3. I love the eras because you could tell when the seasons and series started to shift with what show was like debuting. Era 1 being made up of only players of Road Rules and Real World. Get into Era 2, which is like Real World and Fresh Meat. And now you got Era 3, where we're starting off with an Are You the One contestant. But Amanda debuted on season 28, Rivals 3. She has done 6 main series of the challenge, hasn't been to a final, hasn't won, and the last time we saw her was on USA 2, losing to Desi in a pole wrestle, basically a pole wrestle in episode 4, but the last time she was on an MTV season was back in season 37. Love to see Amanda here, loved her home turf episode, and excited to see what she's going to do on this season, and especially with who else is in Era 3. But now let's move on to Avery, whose original show was Real World Portland, which we're going to see quite a few representatives from the Real World Portland. But she debuted back in season 26. She will be on All Stars 4, but the last time we saw her on the MTV series, she was partnered up with Leroy in Rivals 3, and they were medically DQ'd because Leroy had a pinched nerve in his back. Corey Wharton, that is, back on the challenge. His original show was the Real World Explosion, and he debuted back in season 27, Battle of the Bloodlines, where he did get second place on that season alongside Cousin Mitch. Where's Cousin Mitch, everybody? He's done 9 main seasons of the challenge. He's been to 4 finals, no wins, made it to USA 2 final, and getting second place. That's the last time we've seen him on the challenge. But the last time we saw him on MTV was season 37, losing to Logan. Now, Corey played a really strong social and strategic game back in USA 2. He didn't see a single elimination, made it to the final, and then got second place. Let's see if he can keep that momentum up coming into season 40, and this being his first season back on the main series since season 37, 3 seasons. Next up, we have Devin from Are You the One season 3. He debuted back in season 28, Rivals 3. He's done 7 main seasons, and he has been to 3 finals, has 1 win from season 38, which was the last time he was on the MTV version competing, which was the last time we saw him on the main season of the challenge battling for a championship. But the last time we saw him was season 39, winning against Callum. Next up, a personal favorite of mine is Janae from the Real World Cancun. She debuted on the challenge in season 21, Rivals. She's been on 5 main seasons of the challenge. She's been to 3 finals, has won twice. All of that was on All Stars 1 through 3. The last time we saw her was on the spinoff of USA 2 where she lost to Tori. But the last time she was on the MTV series was back in season 26 where she was paired up with Zach and they lost to Banani in the Battle of the Exiled redemption game. And someone who knows Janae like he knows The Great Gatsby is Jordan from the Real World Portland. He debuted back in season 24, Rivals 2. He has done 7 main seasons. He's been to 5 finals, has won 3 main MTV series championships. Now he has won the world championship, so he has 4 wins total. Now the last time we saw him was winning the world championship alongside Kaz, / being a mercenary on the Challenge 39, / the last time we saw him on the MTV series going for a challenge championship was season 38. He and Anissa were eliminated in the finals, getting 3rd place on that season. Now, I do want to mention here that it took me a little while to make this video about the Challenge 40 rumored cast list. They departed on March 9th, and I waited a week because originally Jordan was announced to be a part of the cast. But then news came out that he backed out of it, told production that he couldn't do it for like a full week. People were just wondering who was going to be the 40th person because we only had 39 main cast members. We had some alternates, but none of the alternates were rumored to have been bumped up to the main cast. And so a lot of people were wondering who is going to be that 40th member in the Eras 3 team. Come to find out, Jordan had another race that he had to do the weekend of March 17th. So production kind of halted everything to see if they could rope Jordan in after his race. He must have said that he could do it, but just in case he would have gotten injured or maybe the results would have changed something to where he would have another race after March 17th, they did fly Derek H. I know, Derek H. Wow. We could have had Derek H., but that's neither here nor there. But they flew out Derek H. to Vietnam to be a second alternate because Jay was the original alternate for Eras 3 just in case somebody got injured or anything, or Jordan wouldn't be able to show up. But after his race, he was able to get on a plane and go to Vietnam, and he is now on the cast officially, or rumored wise. So that's why it took a little while to make this video, because there was these big question marks of whether Jordan was going to be on or not, who else were they thinking about getting, and everything else. But Jordan was able to make it work out, and now he's going to be on the Challenge 40. It's just so funny to think that we're getting Jordan, but who we could have gotten was Jay Mitchell, who is going to be on All-Stars 4, so that makes sense. But then we could have also gotten Derrick Henry from Are You the One and X on the Beach, the dude that kind of flopped in his 2 seasons on the Challenge. Just crazy that we could have gotten either one of those 2 players instead of Jordan. Next up, we got Leroy from The Real World Las Vegas. His first season on the Challenge was season 21. He has done 12 main seasons of the Challenge. He's been to 5 finals. And the last time we saw him, he's going to be playing on All-Stars 4. But the last time we saw him on the main series MTV Challenge was Double Agent season 36, getting 3rd place alongside Nany. And then he also announced his retirement. But him and Cam are going to be on All-Stars 4. And there must have been some talk on that set to where him and Cam talked about it. And maybe this will be his last hurrah. And if he's on a team with Jordan and Avery and Nia and John A, I could see Leroy being like, sign me up. Let's go. I want to see if we can win this thing. And let's just do one last rodeo on Challenge 40. Maybe the prize money is going to be even bumped up even higher, which is going to be very exciting. So I'm happy to see Leroy on this season. I just said her name, and that is Nia, whose original show was The Real World Portland. Avery, Nia, Jordan, all back together. A little Real World Portland reunion. I kind of wish Marlon was on this cast, but we have the trio here. She debuted back on season 25, Free Agent. She's only done 2 main seasons, but she has done a couple of spinoffs recently, like All-Stars, like the World Championship. She has been to 1 final in All-Stars 3, got 3rd place, and the last time we saw her was on the World Championship, losing to Jody and Benha in episode 4. But the last time she was on the main series, she was getting DQ'd right before the final in season 26. I legit am so excited to see her on this season. A Real World Portland reunion with Avery and Jordan, a reunion with her and Leroy. Let's go, man. I'm just so excited. Next up, check your watches because it is Tony time. Tony from The Real World Skeletons. He debuted back on season 27, Battle of the Bloodlines. He has done 6 main seasons. He's been to 1 final, which was Vendettas. He has 1 win, and that was Champs vs. Stars 2, but no main series wins. Last time we saw him, he will be on All-Stars 4, but the last time we saw him on the main MTV series was Final Reckoning, where him and Bananas lost in episode 19, the legit elimination right before the finals, where it was them going up against Paulie and Natalie in the Milk and Cookies elimination. That's a tough way to end your season. That was a long season too, but here he is back, and I'm so excited to see Tony here. And finally, for Era 3, rounding out, we have Tori from Are You the One, season 4, debuted on season 30, just sliding into that cutoff of Eras 3, 7 main seasons. Has also done a whole bunch of spin-offs recently, so more than 7 seasons, 4 finals on MTV, 1 MTV win, 2 spin-off finals of World Championships and USA 2. In USA 2, she got purged and got 4th place, and in the World Championship, she got 2nd place alongside Danny. Last time we saw her was getting 4th place in the USA 2 final. And last time we saw her on MTV was winning season 38, Ride or Dies. Taking a look at Eras 3's overall stats, they have 8 finalists and 4 champions. I personally love Eras 3 somewhat. I think they have a ton of personality. I think it's going to be interesting that if they are playing as a team, how this team will work together in certain challenges. I think there's a good amount of baggage on this team, and there's a lot of question marks of how this team will work together if it is a team. I keep on saying a team, but we don't know what the format is. It's hard not to think that this would be a team if they're designated in eras and brought onto the show specifically because of when they debuted on the challenge. And finally, we have Era 4, which is players that debuted from season 31 all the way to the current season, which is only season 39. Let's jump into it, starting with Horacio. He is back from Exaltan, debuted on season 38, has been on both season 38 and season 39, made it to one final, and almost made it to a final of season 39, but lost in episode 16 to Nerys, his significant other. I'm excited. I think that Horacio is establishing himself as a main character of the challenge. He is a good guy of the good guys, and I think MTV is so excited to have him back on the challenge and to prop him up. Jenny West is back on the challenge. Her original show was Survival of the Fittest. Her debut season was season 34, where she lost in a hall brawl against Tori. She's done 2 seasons, 34 and 35. Last time we saw her was winning Total Madness. She's made it to one final and won that final. Jenny has been a name that people have been wondering why she hasn't been asked back on the challenge in quite some time. Well, here she is. Maybe she was waiting for a big moment to happen for her to make her way back onto the challenge. And I don't think you could have a bigger moment at this point than season 40. I just want to take some time before I say this next name. Next up, we have Josh from Big Brother. He debuted back in season 33, was purged, came back, and was partnered up with Amanda. He has done 5 main seasons, has been on some spin-offs, has not been to a final, hasn't won anything, and the last time we saw him was USA 2, episode 13, where he lost to Fessel in the Hall Pillow fight. But the last time we saw him on MTV was season 37, where he played against Kyle in an elimination in episode 15 and was eliminated. We're really just diving into the Big Brother pool here because the next name on this list is Casey, who made her challenge debut on season 35. She has done 4 main seasons and some spin-off seasons like World Championship. She's been to 3 finals. She has won 1 season on Challenge 37, but the last time we saw her was in the World Championship, 3rd place in those finals. But the last time she was on MTV, she was partnered up with her brother Kenny, and they lost in 2 straight redemption games and lost to Jordan and Anissa in Not So Fast. A new Big Brother face that was a fan favorite from the Challenge 39, and that was Kyland, who's from Big Brother and also the Challenge USA Season 1. His debut season was USA Season 1, but on the main MTV series, it was Challenge 39. Only 1 season, but he went dang near far on that season, going all the way to episode 16, winning multiple eliminations against champions, but then falling to Nerys in episode 16 in the Conquest elimination. I'm so excited to see Kyland back on the challenge so soon. I know he really wants to compete. I know he really wants to win. And I'm just really excited to see what he can do, as well as getting to compete alongside some of the best the game has to offer. For a fan of the challenge, it has to be so surreal. I know I would be like starry-eyed the entire time I was in there. So I'm very excited to see what Kyland will do on the season and how he will do on the season. Next up, we have a Survivor player, and that is Michelle. Her debut on the challenge was season 37. She has done 3 main seasons. She also was on the USA 2 spinoff. She hasn't been to a final, hasn't won a season, and the last time we saw her was in the Challenge 39, getting purged in episode 17. Michelle is coming off of a season where she was the puppet master, but she's going to be playing on a season with 39 other cast members, as well as some members from her own Era 4 that are coming onto the season, and I bet you they do not trust her whatsoever, and would like to throw her into elimination sooner rather than later, or not at all, kind of like how she was on season 39. So I have a feeling that Michelle, because of what happened on season 39, will be having a very different season experience than she did on season 39. Next up, we have Nerys from Are You the One Season 6. She debuted back in season 38, being partnered up with Nelson, has done 2 seasons back-to-back, season 38 and season 39. She made it to the finals in season 39 and got 2nd place, which was the last time we saw her. She's coming in with momentum, with friends, and I'm just so excited because when the reunion for season 39 was airing, there was a lot of talk, and especially her, where she was trying to play it off like, oh, you're not going to see me on the challenge for quite some time, and trying to put those rumors out there that she's not being called and she doesn't want to do another season right away. But here she is, back on the challenge, striking while the iron is hot. I'll be rooting for her and Horacio and Kyland. Somebody that she's going to have to try to get along with is the next contestant, and that is Olivia, whose original show was Love Island US. She debuted back on season 38, made it to the final. In her most recent season on Challenge 39, she was eliminated in the last elimination right before the final by Nurys in the Conquest elimination in episode 17. Kind of like what I was saying about Michelle, because of what happened in the Challenge 39 and how season 40 I feel will be a drastically different experience than what she went through on season 39. I feel like the same thing could be said about Olivia. Their own Eras 4 players won't be able to completely trust them. I mean, how can you with what she pulled on season 39? So I just have a feeling that Olivia just needs to like strap up, put on her game face, and just be ready to go from day one. We have another Big Brother player, and that is Paulie. And he debuted back on season 32 where he was partnered up with Natalie. He has done 3 main seasons of the challenge, has been to 2 MTV finals, and the last time we saw him was on the spinoff of USA 2, where we saw that Paulie was getting along with a lot of people that he wasn't getting along with on his original run on the challenge. Hanging out with Tori. He was hanging out with Bananas. This will be very interesting to see how Paulie interacts with the 39 other contenders, some from Era 4, but I'm also very intrigued to see how he moves around the house. Now, the last time we saw him on the MTV series of the challenge was season 34's final, where he came in second place on his US team. And the final contestant wrapping up the whole season 40 cast, but also wrapping up Eras 4, that is Theo Campbell, whose original show was Love Island UK. He debuted back in season 33, has done 2 main seasons of the challenge, but made his triumphant return to the challenge arena back on World Championship, which was the last time we saw him, where he was getting 4th place. He twisted his ankle early on in those finals, and him and Sarah had to bow out, be medically DQ'd. But the last time we saw him on the challenge was season 34, episode 11, where he lost to Jordan. He's been to 1 final on the main series, MTV series, and that was in season 33, where he got 2nd place. The breakdown of Eras 4 is 7 finalists, which isn't too shabby, but only 2 champions. Eras 4 is the least successful, they have the least experience, and they've had the least amount of time together. And the critique of Eras 4 players not having as much personality and only being competition-based, I think is going to be a hard sell for a lot of the fandom. I feel like this Era 4 team, outside of individual players on this cast like Horacio, Nurys, Kyland, maybe Paulie, this Eras 4 team is going to be looked at as a team that people are going to be rooting against for them to be tested, be thrown in, get the rookie treatment, because technically Eras 4 is made up of the least experienced players. That I feel like this Eras 4 team is by far 4th place to me in terms of success or how popular this team will be amongst the fandom. Going through this whole cast all at once and seeing all 40 names, I have to say that my favorite team is Era 1, then Era 2. Era 3, I think, is interesting personality-wise, whereas I think Eras 4 is interesting competitively, but lacking personality-wise. If I had to choose one team at this moment to think who is going to win, I would have to say Era 1. They have the most wins. They know how to win. They have the experience to win. When you have somebody who just doesn't know how to not win in CT and how he just wins at everything he does and everything he touches turns to gold, I feel like, how can you not back them up? So I feel like Era 1 has the most likely to win, whereas Eras 2 would be the second most likely. I mean, like I said, Cara Maria, Johnny Bananas, Laurel, even Emily being on this team. Nehemiah, who has had some recent finals experience and always trying to up his level of gameplay. I think those two eras are just like going to run the gambit. But that's only thinking if they're going to be a team-based format, which how can you look at this cast list and not think it's going to be a team-based format? I think it's going to start out as team-based, then when they get to like the midway point, then it's going to be an individual game, and then that's where it's going to be like, what era can win? And whoever wins it will win for their era and be the best of the best, you know? I personally love this cast. Overall, just looking at it, yeah, it's got its ebbs and flows. Of course, it's going to have its peaks and valleys with certain players. But overall, I love this theme. And for what we've had to endure the past few seasons, and specifically last season, where it felt like such a chore at some time to like be watching and commentating and going over, I just think that this was well worth it. Pay 39 contestants pennies on the dollar to make this format, this game, hand out the appearance fees like it's candy to make sure we get a cast that is going to be fun and exciting, and that's exactly what they did here for the Challenge 40. And I am just so excited. I'm super excited for this cast and this season in general. I think 40 people is a bit much, but with a cast like this and the names that are on here, I'd rather have 40 people. I just don't want to purge like they did in Challenge 30, where if you win a challenge, you can just pick people to send to a redemption house or something, or just tell them to leave the game. I don't want that at all. Please let it all be competition based. Maybe have double eliminations here and there to make things more exciting, but please don't do purges. But make the daily challenges worth something on why people should win the games and not like throw the competitions. But yeah, I'm so excited. My head is like swimming with all the different ideas and the possible social aspects and the gameplay and strategy and who's going to be going over enemy lines and team lines and how all this strategy is going to be played. And with some of the people that we haven't seen in quite a while, what their reaction to being on the main season, back on the main series in quite some time, / just trying to learn how to play the game and who will they like connect to and be with on it. It's just my head has so many ideas of what could happen that I'm just so excited. Like I'm exhausted from going over 40 names and all these stats and talking about everybody, but just thinking about the possibilities of this being one of, if not the best season in challenge history has me so amped. Now, like I said, I'm excited for All-Stars 4, and I don't want to rush past All-Stars 4, but I cannot wait for when the trailer drops for the Challenge 40. I think that this is going to be a season like no other, and I cannot wait. Please don't drop the ball on this, MTV, because you have something so promising here with this cast list. And please don't squander this moment, because this could be the best thing we have ever seen on the challenge. And that is saying something. But that is it for this Challenge 40 cast rumor video. What do you think about this cast? Let me know down in the comment section below. Who are you excited to see? Who are you shocked to see back? And who are you upset to see back on the challenge season 40? Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below. I cannot wait to hear what everybody has to say about this cast, because as excited as I am, I want to hear what everybody else has to say and who you're excited to see, what you're excited to see. What do you think is going to happen? Please let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's a long one. We had a lot of people to go through, my thoughts and opinions about this cast, but it was so much fun to make this video. But now I want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really soon with more Challenge 40 content, more Challenge All-Stars 4 content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.